I hope everybody out there is doing okay today. Got a tech tip for you. As you can see, and I'll put the camera over here for a minute. I am getting ready to put a new set of cams and bearings in my big old dresser, in the big bike as I call it. But I had pulled out the old cam bearings, but I wanted to show you something right here in case you want to do this yourself. It's really not that complicated. This is an S&S cam bearing. Now, see how you can see the roller bearings in there, how close they are together. Now, notice how this, well, let me get over here. This end is rounded. This end has the writing on it. The writing is the end that's supposed to be on the outside. And it's rounded, so when you put it in the cam chest, it'll push on in. Now, this is the stock Harley-Davidson bearing. But look at how the bearings are spaced out in there. They're not like the roller bearings in the S&S cam bearing. But these are the old ones I have pulled out. And I'm going to put in these new ones. And I have a big old tube of assembly lube, big bottle of assembly lube, which we're going to lube this up and take my tool and push it in. But always remember, the writing is on the outside. When you put this in, where the rounded piece is, this is to the inside. And you can see the S&S bearing is a much better bearing than the stock Harley-Davidson bearing. And also, while you're doing it, if you do this, I don't know if you can see, but there are several O-rings here. Do replace those. Don't let a 50-cent O-ring mess up your work. So if you're going this far in, do replace those. But anyway, just want to let you know what I was up to, and we're going to install these cam bearings, and then I got a couple of 570 S&S bolt-in cams I'm going to put in, and it's going to be a good time. Can't wait to get this thing on the road in a couple of weeks. And you can see how I got this bad boy. I got this motorcycle broke down. Can never have too much fun around this place, you know what I mean? I gotta ride the old pan for a while over there, which is cool. I don't mind that at all. But anyway, I thought I'd pass that tech tip along today. Always remember, the writing is on the outside of the bearing, and it's tapered so it goes in easier. And S&S bearings are better than your stock Harley-Davidson bearings. Well, anyway, y'all be good to yourselves. Remember, if you're not a member of the North Carolina Division of SCV, Sons of Confederate Veterans, you should be. Bye. Okay. How's everybody doing today? I know it's cold. They're calling for snow this weekend. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm going to show you a few things today that are important that you may need to know if you're working on your twin cam Harley here. I installed my cams, my cam plates back on, torqued my cam plate back down to spec. But now, as you can see, I got my gears in here and I got my gears lined up. Now, one thing you want to do, and I'm going to pull a light around here. If you'll notice, there's a little line in there to help you. So you got your two timing marks here, line to help you got your timing mark in, and you got the one over here on this cam. If I pull this nut off, those two timing marks will be lined up and we're ready to go. But something else you need to know, or that will help you out, is before, now I don't have the chain on here because I wanted to make sure if I put this ruler on here, my straight edge, yeah, this is how it works. We're lined up. Now I've got a feeler gauge that I can put under there, so if there's any distance or anything, or like these are not lined up but they're lined up, I could. And if you're going to ever do a cam swap, make sure that you have some spacers. Now I didn't need a spacer this time, which was pretty cool. I run S&S cams, didn't have to have a spacer, everything lined up. I'm going to remove these, clean out the old Loctite, clean up the bolts, put the chain on, and torque it down to spec. But anyway, if you're going to do this, always make sure you got you some cam spacers, a straight edge to check to make sure you're in spec, that both your gears are lined up. And as you can see, all your timing marks are right there. Anyway, try to stay, get out of here. Got to put some lifters in a little while. I'll show you how to do some lifters. Anyway, everybody try to stay warm this weekend. It's going to be cold, and I'm going to finish up working on this old girl here. But anyway, remember, have you some spacers. All right, everybody be good. One more quick video before I'm done. Something I wanted to show you the finished product here. There you go. We have new cams in. New cam, as you can see, new cam chain tensioners, front and rear, because these were gone. They needed to be replaced. I got to almost 90,000 before I had to do this. And you can see here my line. Not the best view of it, but I could get a light. But you can see how my timing marks are lined up in there. Both these bolts are torqued down to spec. So we're good to go. We can button this thing up. One more thing I wanted to stress before you take on a project like this. Now, I am a trained professional, but even though I have right here the book, I have the official manual, as you can see, from the fine people at Harley Davidson. You know what I mean? But always make sure you have a book, because if you got a book, you'll know all your specs to torque everything and where everything's got to go, the right amount of Loctite, but mainly your specs and specifications. I can't stress that enough. But always, before you attempt a project like... All right, how's everybody doing? Now, I'm down here putting in lifters today, and last time I told you I'd show you how to do some lifters. My lifters were back ordered, so it took me a little while to get them. But since it snowed, and you really can't get out and ride a motorcycle, I could wait. And since on top of that, it looks like it's going to snow again on Saturday. I had ice, now snow. Anyway, got a set of where's my camera? Got a set of S&S lifters here. I've already put 3 in. I'm getting ready to put this one in. But you want to pump these up. Some people let them soak overnight. You know, some people have one of those cool machines. I don't have one of those cool machines that pumps them up. But what I do is, where the hole is, you see the hole there? That's the hole the oil goes in anyway. So I'll take my pump here, my little hand oil can, and I'll stick this in here, and I will pump this till I see oil come out of the top of the lifter. And I've done all these already, but I don't know if I can make this work or not, but we'll see what we can do. But if you'll look here, when I put in the little oil hole, as you can see, it's not the best, but anyway, you can see oil coming up in here, and that's what you want. So now I have, got some oil in my lifter. So what I can do now, make sure the hole, the breather hole, goes facing your motor. And remember, the flat's here. And we'll just take that and we'll put that in there. And there we go. We got our lifters in. And like I said, let me wipe my hand off here and get it clean. The big thing is I got this really nifty old squeeze oil can, and I get one of the old ones here. And like I said, you have your breather hole here, or actually it's what lets the oil in to help pump up the lifter, then gets the oil up to the top of the engine through the hole in the center of your push rod. But anyway, I got my little cool can here, and I'll put that here, and once again, pump, pump, pump. You'll see the oil come out, and now my lifter is ready. I got oil in my lifter, so when I fire this up, I've got my lifters pumped up. I got oil in them already. I've had to do it where you just kind of spin the motor till you feel them pump up, and then that'll take some time. Well, I hope everybody's staying warm, and maybe this will help you some on whatever building project you got going on. But anyway, we got the lifters. So got 570 cams in here with some S&S 330 718 lifters. Yeah, this thing's gonna run good. We're gonna have a blast when we turn this bad boy on. Anyway, y'all be good to yourselves. I'll talk at you later. All right, as you can see, I got most of the tools off my bike lift. Lord knows I had a bunch up there. But this has come along nicely. I got the fuel tank on. I got to hook up the electronics to it, the fuel gauge and a couple of other things. But other than that, the fuel tank isn't bolted on. I'm going to clean it and do some other odds and ends first. But I got, like I said, I got my pipes wrapped. I think that looks pretty good. That's going to be pretty awesome. You know, rebuilt the breathers, went back through, checked out the fuel injection, put in a couple of brand new 570 cams and lifters. So I'm really excited how this old girl is going to sound once we hit the starter button. Because of the snow, unfortunately, I will not be rolling this thing out today. I want to. Sometime, though, in the next day or two, I'll probably, after I get brakes, we'll roll this old girl out and fire her up, because I'm dying to hear how she sounds with those cams in. Of course, we're going to have to go have a tune done after that, but that's okay. But like I said, I got brakes coming, and might as well just leave her on the lift for now instead of rolling her off, fire her up, and then push her back on. But this has been fun. I'm real happy with how this has turned out. For whatever it's worth, it gave me something to do while I was, what it's worth, it gave me something to do while I was snowed in. But I'm real happy with how this project's done so far. I will crank this old girl in the next couple of days, and we'll see how she sounds, since we got a couple of S&S 570s in her. Those are good bolt-in cams. I'm putting fresh lifters too. I'll do a video too on the all cam and lifters, and I'll replace the timing chain tensioners and let you look at that stuff. The rear timing chain tensioner on the back of the cam plate looked actually pretty good. The cam and all lifters, they didn't look bad. I could tell I had a couple of lifters that their time was coming to an end. But the front timing chain tensioner was not in good shape. So all that's covered now. We got brand new works. I am dying to turn this thing on. I really am. I don't know. We may roll this down and fire it up and put it back on lift sometime today. I don't know. But I'll have the camera on the tripod, and I'll let you hear first start up, because it'll sound pretty wicked. And I'm liking this wrap on there. The chrome heat shields are okay, but the wrap does way better job of keeping the heat off of you. So anyway, talk at you later. All right, good morning, everybody. Remember, I told you, when I get to the point, we got to start this motorcycle. So everything's together. The cam's in, the lifters. I've oiled up the lifters. Got the bike off the stand, or, well, the bike lift. It's off the bike lift. So now we're going to start it and see how it sounds. See if we got all our timing marks and everything right. I'll warn you, when I start this thing, the pipe wrap will probably start smoking. It's not the motorcycle itself, it's the pipe wrap. Plus, it's cold this morning. It's about 34. But anyway, let's see if we got all our timing marks right, and our lifters oiled up and everything, and see how this goes. So we're going to start it. First time it's been started since I put in new cam and lifters. 47? You're kidding. That must be in the shop. That's got to be in the shop, not outside. But like I said, we put in a bolt-in 570 cams, set of lifters, did brakes while I had her down, wrapped the exhaust, rebuilt the breathers, and I'm real happy with how this turned out. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I really am. Y'all, we're gonna let this thing idle for about I don't know, 15 more minutes. Everything turned out well. Y'all saw how this old girl broke down. So anyway, y'all be good to yourselves. We'll stretch this mug out in a little, well, when the weather gets better, as you can see. Still a lot of snow out here on the ground, so I ain't going nowhere anytime soon. Anyway, y'all be good to yourselves.